This video did not exist in your reality until you directed your conscious attention toward it. Think about that for a moment. Out of millions of possibilities, your consciousness collapsed the quantum wave and brought you exactly to this precise second in time. Today, we are going to dive into the most guarded secret of the quantum field and the observer effect. Most people believe that observation only shapes what is to come. But I promise you, by the time this video ends, you will understand your true power as a creator of reality. Because you will learn how the observer effect works on your past. Have you ever felt that a memory suddenly changed its meaning? Or that a painful event mysteriously transformed into a blessing? That was not a psychological trick. That was you bending the fabric of time. Listen closely, because you are about to remember what your soul has always known. To truly grasp the magnitude of what we are about to discuss, we must first step outside the limits of human conditioning. In the esoteric framework of the universe, the quantum field is not just a scientific concept of particles and atoms. It is the living, breathing canvas of infinite possibilities. It is the mind of the universe itself, an ocean of probability waves where everything that could ever happen is existing simultaneously. In this field, time is not linear. Now, let us talk about the act of observation. In our realm, observation is not a passive act of simply looking at something. It is an active, dynamic force. It is the very mechanism that forces the chaotic waves of probability to collapse into a singular, physical experience. You are not a passive audience member watching a movie play out on a screen. You are the projector, the light, and the director, all at once. Your awareness commands the field to take shape. Let us begin by dismantling the greatest illusion you have ever been taught about your existence. You have been heavily conditioned by society to believe that time is a straight line, an arrow moving relentlessly forward from your birth until your death. You think the past is a locked vault, a concrete structure made of events that have already solidified and can never be touched again. But what if I told you that this is nothing more than a trick of your physical senses? In the quantum realm, there is no yesterday, and there is no tomorrow. There is only the eternal now, a continuous, breathing moment of pure creation. Your past does not exist behind you. It exists within you, right here, right now, as a pulsating frequency within the quantum field. When you think of a memory, you assume you are pulling up a dusty file from an old archive. In reality, you are interacting with a living, malleable wave of energy. The past is not a solid fact. It is a fluid probability. It only looks solid because you keep looking at it from the exact same angle, with the exact same emotional state. If you change your position as the conscious observer, the landscape of your history must physically rearrange itself to match your new vantage point. You are not a helpless prisoner of your history. You are the ultimate author, and the ink is never truly dry on the canvas of your life. Think about how the observer effect is traditionally explained. The classic experiments show that a quantum particle behaves like a wave of infinite possibilities until it is observed or measured. The moment human consciousness steps in, that infinite wave collapses into a single, defined point in physical space. But here is the secret that leaves even brilliant minds stunned. This collapse does not just happen forward in time, it sends ripples backward as well. When you observe a present moment, you are actually reaching back through the energetic timeline and organizing the past events necessary to bring this exact present moment into existence. Your present observation retroactively designs the path that led you here. This means that your history is constantly being updated, rewritten, and rearranged based on who you are being today. You do not have one fixed timeline behind you. You have an infinite number of parallel pasts, all waiting in a state of suspension. By choosing your state of being in this present second, you select which past actually happened. It is a radical shift in understanding. Your past is simply the shadow cast by the light of your present consciousness. Now, let us examine how your brain processes memories. You have been told that your brain is like a hard drive, recording events and storing them permanently in specific folders. But metaphysical science reveals a much deeper truth. Your brain is not a storage device. It is a quantum receiver. Memories are not physically located inside your brain cells. Instead, your brain tunes in to specific frequencies within the quantum field to access the energetic signature of an event. Every single time you recall a past event, you are not playing back a recording. You are actually recreating the event in real time. You are collapsing a quantum wave all over again. This means that every act of remembering is an act of creation. If you recall an event while feeling deep resentment, you collapse the wave into a reality where you remain a victim. But if you recall that exact same event from a state of total peace and gratitude, you collapse a completely different wave. You actually change the physical and energetic structure of the event within the unified field. You are rewriting the code of your reality with every thought. Emotions are the magnetic force that locks a timeline into place. This is where most people get trapped in the illusion of a fixed reality. It is not just your thoughts that collapse the quantum wave. It is the emotional signature attached to those thoughts. An emotion is energy in motion. When an event happened in what you call the past, you generated a massive emotional charge. That charge anchored you to a specific frequency. Every time you revisit that memory and feel the same pain, the same anger, or the same guilt, you are sending a powerful signal to the quantum field. You are demanding that the universe keep recreating the same patterns, the same types of people, and the same struggles in your present and future. You are continuously resurrecting a dead past and breathing life into it through your emotional observation. But what happens when you neutralize the emotion? What happens when you look back at a trauma without the physical sensation of pain? The moment you change the emotional resonance, you literally detach yourself from that old timeline. The observer effect shifts, and the past loses its power over your present physical reality. This brings us to the profound spiritual practice of quantum revision. Mystics and masters have known for centuries what quantum physicists are just discovering now. You can actively revise your past. This is not about lying to yourself or pretending something did not happen. It is about understanding that the event you remember is only one of infinite probabilities that occurred in the field. When you sit in stillness and consciously imagine an alternative outcome to a past situation, you are engaging the observer effect in a magnificent way. If you imagine a past argument ending in peace, and you generate the genuine feeling of relief in your body, your subconscious mind and the quantum field do not know the difference between the physical event and the imagined one. Your new observation collapses a new wave of reality. The energetic cords tying you to the negative event are instantly severed. The universe responds by rearranging your current circumstances to match the new, healed past you just installed. You are literally swapping out the foundation of your house without having to rebuild the walls. Let us look at a real-life example of how this quantum shift manifests. Have you ever experienced a terrible breakup, a painful loss, or a massive failure that devastated you? At the time, your observation collapsed a reality of total despair. You believed your past was ruined and your future was bleak. But years later, you might have looked back at that exact same event and realized it was the greatest catalyst for your spiritual awakening. It pushed you to find your true purpose or led you to your true soulmate. In that moment of realization, your observation changed. You stopped observing a tragedy and started observing a miracle. When that shift in consciousness occurred, the past event actually transformed. It was no longer a traumatic wound, it became a sacred stepping stone. Because you changed how you observed the past, your present reality suddenly flooded with new synchronicity, new opportunities, and new relationships. You retroactively altered the function of the past, and the quantum field rewarded you by upgrading your current dimension. This is the magic you wield. To understand how the past changes, you must grasp the concept of parallel realities. Right now, as you listen to my voice, there is a version of you who is completely bound by trauma, living in fear and lack. Simultaneously, there is a version of you who is entirely liberated, living a life of profound wealth, health, and joy. Both of these versions have different pasts that lead them to their current moments. When you decide to shift your vibration today, you do not drag your old, heavy past into a new future. Instead, you literally jump tracks. You shift your consciousness into the parallel reality where the healed version of you already exists. And when you make that jump, you inherit the past of that new reality. This is why when people undergo deep spiritual awakenings, they often feel disconnected from their old memories. They look back and feel as though they are remembering a movie they watched about someone else, rather than their own life. The emotional charge is gone, because they have literally stepped into a timeline where that old past no longer holds any structural weight. This observer effect also applies heavily to your financial reality and your relationship with abundance. Many people stay trapped in poverty because they continuously observe a past filled with lack, struggle, and unpaid bills. They defined themselves by their financial history. But money is just energy, and energy is subject to the observer effect. If you want to change your financial future, you must stop observing a past of scarcity. You must begin to look back at every financial struggle as a masterful lesson in value and resourcefulness. When you reframe your past from a story of lack into a story of intense preparation for massive wealth, you shift the quantum wave. The field stops recognizing you as someone who is always broke and starts recognizing you as someone who has been gathering the momentum for extreme abundance. The moment you neutralize the resentment toward your past financial state, unexpected money, sudden opportunities, and brilliant ideas will begin to flood your present. You simply removed the energetic block that was stationed in the past. Your physical body is one of the most profound reflections of the observer effect on the past. Your cells are essentially memory banks. They hold the energetic imprint of everything you have ever experienced. Chronic pain, illness, and tension are often the physical manifestations of a past timeline that you are still actively observing. You are keeping the disease alive by expecting it to be there based on your history. But spontaneous remissions and miraculous healings occur when a person experiences a radical shift in consciousness. When an individual stops identifying with the past trauma that caused the illness, the cellular memory is wiped clean. The new observation commands the cells to regenerate based on a new, healthy timeline. The past version of you that became sick is no longer the master of your present biology. By shifting the observer effect, you command your DNA to express itself differently. Your body heals because it is no longer responding to a past of suffering. It is responding to a present state of absolute wholeness and harmony. There is a massive trap that keeps humanity enslaved in lower frequencies. And that is the trap of the victim narrative. Every time you tell a story about how someone wronged you, how society failed you, or how unlucky you have been, you are using the observer effect against yourself. You are pouring your divine creative energy into solidifying a timeline of powerlessness. You are telling the universe, "I am a victim of my past," and the universe replies, "Yes, you are." and immediately collapses waves of probability to give you more experiences of being a victim. To break this cycle, you must become ruthlessly protective of your attention. You must refuse to entertain the victim timeline. This requires the courage to look at the darkest parts of your past and declare that they happened for you, not to you. When you claim absolute responsibility for your perception, the victim timeline disintegrates. The energy that was trapped in that old story rushes back into your body, giving you an immense surge of vitality and manifesting power in the present moment. Equally dangerous is the trap of nostalgia and the glorification of the past. Have you ever caught yourself longing for the good old days, believing that your best years are behind you? This, too, is a destructive use of the observer effect. When you obsessively observe a past that you believe was better than your present, you collapse a wave of lack in the now. You are instructing the quantum field that your current reality is inadequate. The field obeys and creates a present that is dull and unfulfilling. To master the observer effect, you must pull all of your energetic investments out of the past, both the painful and the joyful. You must realize that whatever beauty, love, or success you experienced yesterday was just a small fraction of what is available to you right now. When you appreciate the past but detach from it, you take all that positive frequency and inject it straight into your current moment. You use the memory not as a place to hide, but as fuel to explode into an even more magnificent reality today. Have you ever experienced the strange sensation of déjà vu? Mainstream science writes this off as a simple misfiring of the brain, a temporary glitch in memory retrieval. But through the lens of quantum mysticism, déjà vu takes on a profoundly different meaning. Déjà vu is a tangible, physical sign that you are shifting timelines. It is a moment of synchronicity, where your present consciousness intersects with a parallel past. When you experience that eerie feeling of having been somewhere before, or having had this exact conversation already, it is because the new timeline you have just merged with is synchronizing with your current awareness. Your higher self is giving you a nod, confirming that your observer effect has successfully altered the fabric of reality. The field is updating its coordinates. Instead of brushing these moments off, pay deep attention to them. They are the breadcrumbs left by your own consciousness, showing you that the rigid illusion of linear time is breaking down and you are stepping into your true, multidimensional nature. The key to unlocking the rigid wave of the past is radical, deep acceptance. Resistance is what locks a quantum probability into a dense, unchangeable reality. When you fight against something that happened, when you wish it had been different, you create immense energetic friction. This friction acts like a superglue, binding you to the very timeline you are trying to escape. You cannot change a past that you are at war with. The universe only responds to the frequency of surrender. Deep acceptance does not mean you condone harmful actions or minimize your pain. It means you drop the energetic resistance. You look at the past and you say, "This happened, and I no longer fight its existence." In that exact second of surrender, the wave unlocks. The dense reality turns back into fluid probability because you are no longer holding it in place with your resistance. The field is free to rearrange the energetic consequences of that event. Acceptance is the alchemy that turns the lead of a painful history into the gold of present wisdom. This leads us directly to the true metaphysical meaning of forgiveness. Religion has taught you that forgiveness is a moral obligation, something you do to be a good person. But in quantum mechanics, forgiveness is a highly advanced technology for timeline manipulation. When you hold a grudge against someone, you are energetically tied to them. You are constantly feeding energy back into the past moment where the offense occurred, keeping that reality alive and active in your field. Forgiveness is the act of consciously removing your observation from that timeline. It is the ultimate detachment. When you truly forgive, You withdraw your energetic anchor from the painful past. You stop animating the version of that person who hurt you, and you stop animating the version of yourself who was hurt. You sever the quantum entanglement. This is why genuine forgiveness feels like a physical weight being lifted off your chest. It is not just an emotional release. It is a literal change in your gravitational pull within the quantum field. You are suddenly free to float into a higher dimension. As you begin to master this, you may start to notice the phenomenon of shifting memories with other people. This is one of the most undeniable proofs of the observer effect working on the past. You might sit down with a family member or an old friend and bring up a shared event from 10 years ago. As you describe the event, they look at you in utter confusion. They remember it happening in a completely different way, with different people, or maybe they do not remember it happening at all. This is not just faulty human memory. This is a personal Mandela effect. Because you have done the inner work, shifted your vibration, and changed your observation, you have literally migrated to a new timeline. The person sitting across from you is matching your current frequency, but their version of the past aligns with this new timeline, not your old one. Your histories no longer match, because you are no longer the same entity that experienced that old event. When this happens, do not argue or try to prove you are right. Simply smile, knowing you have successfully hacked the quantum matrix. You can even use this retroactive observer effect to access dormant skills and talents. In the infinite quantum field, there is a timeline where you dedicated your life to learning the piano, a timeline where you became a master of languages, and a timeline where you are a brilliant public speaker. Because all of these pasts exist simultaneously, you can use your present focus to draw those abilities into your current reality. By entering a state of deep meditation and feeling the absolute certainty that you already possess this knowledge, you build a quantum bridge to that specific past. You are observing a history where you already did the work. Suddenly, you may find that you learn a new skill with unnatural speed, or you understand complex concepts intuitively without prior study. People will say you have a natural gift, but the truth is, you simply downloaded the data from a parallel timeline. Your consciousness is not restricted to the experiences of this one physical body. You have access to the infinite library of your multidimensional existence. To wield this power consistently, you must cultivate the state of the Master Observer. The Master Observer is the aspect of your consciousness that is completely detached from the drama of the physical world. It is the silent witness behind your eyes, the awareness that watches your thoughts, your emotions, and your memories without judgment. When you operate from the ego, you are constantly reacting to the past, letting it dictate your mood and your choices. But when you step back and identify as the Master Observer, you realize that you are the space in which the past, present, and future occur. You look at your history not as a set of rules, but as a menu of options. You observe with a loving, detached awareness. This state of neutrality is incredibly powerful. It strips away all the heavy emotional charges that keep unwanted timelines locked in place. In the state of the Master Observer, you can gently guide the quantum wave to collapse exactly where you want it to, effortlessly bending reality to match your highest intentions. When you fully realize that your observation changes your past, something spectacular happens to your future. You no longer have to struggle, force, or grind to manifest your desires. The entire paradigm of hard work and endless striving falls away. Why? Because the future is simply the organic continuation of the past you choose to observe today. If you use the observer effect to heal your history, to rewrite your story into one of continuous growth, abundance, and divine support, The quantum field has no choice but to project a future that matches that trajectory. By cleaning up the energetic debris of your past, you clear the runway for your future. The manifestations you have been chasing for years will suddenly drop into your lap because you removed the contradictions from your timeline. You are no longer sending mixed signals to the universe. Your past, your present, and your future become one unified, harmonious wave of pure creation. Changing the past is the most powerful shortcut to manifesting the future. The great awakening of humanity is not about learning something new. It is about remembering what we have systematically been programmed to forget. The illusion of linear time was designed to keep you small, to make you believe you were a victim of circumstance, chained to the mistakes and traumas of yesterday. But the quantum field is calling you to wake up. It is showing you that the observer effect is the key to the prison door, and you have been holding it the entire time. You are the architect of your entire timeline. Every time you consciously choose to reframe a memory, every time you withdraw your emotional reaction from an old trigger, and every time you forgive, you are doing the work of a god. You are literally reshaping the cosmos from the inside out. Do not let another day go by observing a past that makes you feel powerless. Reclaim your timeline. Command the field. Your consciousness is the ultimate authority in this universe, and the moment you truly believe that, the world will instantly change before your very eyes. We have reached the edge of the matrix, the point where the intellect must surrender to the soul. You have been given the keys to rewrite your existence. The observer effect is not a scientific curiosity. It is your divine birthright. It works on your past just as powerfully as it works on your future. The only thing standing between you and a completely transformed reality is where you choose to place your attention right now. Will you continue to breathe life into the ghost of your past limitations? Or will you step into the eternal now, collapse a new wave of probability, and become the master of your fate? The field is waiting for your command. It is listening to your vibration at this very second. The shift has already begun within you simply by absorbing these words. The old timelines are crumbling, and the new earth is ready to be born through your awakened perception. Trust your power, trust the field, and watch the impossible become your everyday reality. But what if I told you the ultimate truth? You are not just in reality. You are reality, observing itself. You are the infinite field, pretending to be a human, experiencing the illusion of time so that you can remember the thrill of creation. Your past, your present, and your future are all dancing together in the palm of your consciousness. By changing how you observe your history, you change the entire structure of your universe. Thank you for tuning in to this transmission. If this message resonated with your soul, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button to help this frequency reach those who are ready to awaken. To anchor this quantum shift into your physical reality today, I want you to go down to the comments right now and type, "I am the observer, and I create my reality." Declare it to the field. Before you go, tell me, what strange signs or synchronicities have you noticed lately that prove your reality is already shifting? Let us expand our consciousness together in the comments below.